Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. So I'm just about to do a little bit of a Bali makeup situation, which is going to be not much. As you can imagine, it's freaking hot here. Echoing in the bathroom. You were asking if I could kind of elaborate on things a little bit more. This is my absolute favorite primer in the entire world, by the way. There are a few questions that kind of kept coming up. So I thought, why not, while I'm getting ready, do a wee catch up with you guys. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes with us in the last month. A lot of you didn't actually know that we were going to Bali yet. I'm not really somebody that likes to speak things into existence. So of course the trolls have all come out and have decided to be assholes about us apparently chickening out and leaving Dubai. Now I am first to admit, if we didn't have Bali booked, I probably would have wanted to leave. Obviously, as I've said multiple times, Dubai is doing such an amazing job at keeping everybody safe. But if you're somebody like me and you get bad anxiety, hearing missiles being intercepted is terrifying. And I don't care what anybody says that the bangs are good, because yes, they are. It's a lot better to hear an interception bang because it means they've successfully intercepted the missile. And during the night, almost every single night, and where our apartment was situated, it was very loud there. There was huge bangs. All of the windows were shaking like crazy. If you haven't seen our apartment on my stories, this is what it looked like. Not really the best place to be in on the 24th floor of an apartment. Like, it's just, yeah. My anxiety can never. But Josh, on the other hand, I don't think he would have wanted to go, other than for the reason that I was really scared and I wanted to leave. He was very much trusting that we were going to be fine. He was constantly out walking, doing his normal routine. For me personally, I felt like my days just consisted of updating friends and family, making sure that they all knew that we were okay, watching the news, doom scrolling. It was just not a very good place for me to be in. So we're very, very lucky that we did have Bali booked for summer. We did actually book it before all of the war broke out. Just very, very grateful for the timing for that. Most of my friends have left, but not permanently. They've just all left for, you know, a couple of months. Most of us did already plan on leaving. A couple of people have had really, really good situations with their work, but they've said they can work remotely, so they've decided, well, why would they not? They were doing an amazing job, but for people like myself that are already quite anxious people, it was just not really the vibe. Another question that kept coming in was, like, when did we book the villa? How did we get such a good deal on the villa? I didn't realise we were getting such a good deal on the villa, but obviously a lot of people have come over from Dubai. So now I'm starting to realise us booking this so early has meant that we've ended up getting a really good deal. I'd love to tell you exactly where it is, but just for safety reasons, I just don't necessarily think that's a good idea. But we'll give you guys a wee villa tour if you're interested. A question that was coming through a lot was obviously, are we going back to Dubai? At this stage we are. Like, we have a return flight. We booked the return flight for the end of summer, so we're planning on going back to New Zealand. It's going to be our first time going back to New Zealand since we moved in 2024. I'm really excited to go back. I think it will kind of solidify to me why we have moved. I think Dubai will bounce back. At this stage we have every intention on going back. Like I said, we already have that booked. But, oh no, this is my favourite eyebrow pencil. It's just from Sephora. And it seems it's empty. Fuck! Oh, I didn't get a... Come on, please, please. I must have fucking broken that. It was almost brand new. How annoying. Because I used to use these matte ones, but as you can see now, they've changed them to these thicker ones. It's just not the same, it's not the same. But we do have every intention on going back. Dubai is our home now, and we love Dubai, just not so much in the summer when it gets really hot. We do spend a lot of time out of the country, hence why we wanted to book Bali. We like tropical places, don't get me wrong, but when you know, it's like 45-degree heat during summer. It's not really ideal. So this time we were like, okay, when our lease is up at the end of March, we will find a new... Sorry, I'm really bad at multitasking, Jesus Christ. Last summer when we were in Bali for Josh's mom's birthday, we were like, why am I paying for a year rental when we're not even here all of summer? And we just had all of this furniture and everything else. We felt very tied down, and while we were kind of popping around everywhere, it made more sense for us to obviously do short-term rentals. So that's why when our lease started coming up at the end of March, we were like, okay, perfect, this is great timing. Little did we know that it was going to be perfect timing. I do think that the Western media is making Dubai out to be a lot different than it actually is. Like, they act like we're running through a freaking war zone, and it's not like that at all. Like, people are really going about their day-to-day life. If I wasn't somebody that gets really bad anxiety, I probably would have been fine. But like, a lot of my friends were just still going out, drinking, everything else. But for me, yeah, I was just pretty excited to go. Another question that was coming through a lot was about friends and family and were they checking in often. My mum was checking in on me constantly. We had a rule that I had to check in with her morning and night, just to give even a quick little like update of like, hi, everything's okay, we're all good, da da da. Josh's mum and his nan were also absolutely amazing. His mum kind of had a slightly different angle, like she didn't want to stress us out and constantly ask, because she really wanted us to leave pretty much straight away. So she's obviously stoked that we're out now. My mum was, I think I updated her a lot. Like, there's a lot of the times where we'd be on the phone and stuff and she'd hear missiles being intercepted, alerts going off while we're on the phone. So I think she was a bit like, please keep me updated. Absolutely amazing. Some of my friends from home were really great as well, but I'm not gonna lie, there's a few people that I was really expecting to hear from more, or to just hear from at all, and I didn't. And I do think it puts things in perspective a little bit for you. So for me, I was already kind of questioning a couple of my friendships a little bit. I've been putting a lot of effort into them, and I understand that life gets busy, but you know, I had some friends that literally have children that were checking in on me. Young babies that were still checking in, and I'm not saying I was expecting to hear from people constantly, but I heard from my hairdresser from like 12 years ago. He messaged me. So for me to not hear from a couple of people that I thought were very, very close to me, it did really hurt. It's a question that came up quite a lot actually, but I didn't really want to answer it on Instagram without kind of elaborating on why I felt that way, I suppose. I don't know, everyone has their own lives going on. I just think it's kind of, when people say, oh, sorry, I've just been really busy, I didn't have time to message you. To me, that just means that I'm not important enough, and I feel the same way with anything in life. Like, if you have a partner or you're dating somebody and they say, I'm so sorry, I was really busy all day. No. I bet when you first started dating, they were just as busy, and were they making an effort? Yes. Why? Because you were important enough to them then. You're just not now. And I know that's the harsh reality, but in a way, I feel like this has been awesome for me, because it's really put things in perspective, and I don't really have time to be putting into people that aren't putting time back into me, you know what I mean? If it's not reciprocated, then see you. Another one that was coming in quite often was what area we're going to be living in Bali. If we'd be in Bali permanently. I think we'd only ever be in Bali for summer. I love it here so much. I love the people. Everybody's just so nice, like for no reason. You get food delivered and they're like, hi ma'am, enjoy your meal. And it's just so lovely. In Bali, like, people don't really have much in it, but they're so grateful for a tip, and they're so polite all the time. I don't know, it's always been our happy place. I worked out that I think this is our 23rd trip to Bali. The light keeps changing so much, guys, bear with me. We've got a little sunlight in here. I think after everything as well, it's just been such a lovely feeling to be back in our second home. I don't think oh, here it goes again. I don't think that we'd be here forever, but also never say never. It's like one of the questions was, will we be moving back to New Zealand? I don't know. Again, never say never. We still have one of our properties in New Zealand. It was our real home, like one we're actually living in. We just have that rented out right now, and there is the potential to move back. We did want to stay in the New Zealand house market, so we kind of did things a little bit backwards. We got rid of our investment property and then kept the one that we were living in, just for the hopes that maybe one day we might move back, and we didn't want to go and sell all of our furniture because we did think that was going to be our forever home. But I do think opportunity-wise, Auckland is quite difficult in that respect, and we want it to be somewhere like Dubai where we're so much closer to travelling to different places. I've had the most incredible work opportunities since we actually moved. I do think maybe if we decided, yes, we were going to settle down, start a family, I do think New Zealand would be a really amazing place for that. Maybe Australia. And again, Dubai's a lot better for hiring help and things like that. And for me, I'm a very independent person. It is a fear that I have of having kids and not being able to move around much, because all my friends constantly say, when you have a kid, you can't travel and you can't do this and you can't do that. I understand that having children is a sacrifice, but I do also have friends in Dubai mainly actually who travel so much with their kids. Obviously it's a different vibe than when they were traveling by themselves, but they, you know, it's just different in general. Nannies are fine, business everywhere, it's just a different situation. So I don't really think that you can compare the two, but I also think until you're in those positions, you don't really know how you're going to be as a mother, I suppose. I'm still kind of on the fence. That was another question that came through a lot. Do you think you and Josh are going to have children? If you'd asked me last year, the answer would have been no. But I don't know what happened, but after my birthday, all of a sudden I've started noticing babies everywhere. I actually think I want to have a family. Why is all my stuff running out? Go on, Susan. I think I've always put a lot of pressure on myself because the people close to me were like born to be parents, you know what I mean? Like they just woke up and were like, we are gonna be mums, that's all we want for our lives. I've always definitely been more of a person that thinks if it happens, then I know I will be a really great mum. If it doesn't, then that's fine too. And I'm really happy and comfortable in the relationship we currently have. I don't know, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself that maybe I'm not meant to have kids because I've never had that feeling that my other friends have. And if you guys have ever felt similar, I am definitely warming up to the idea. I've been seeing babies everywhere. And my best friend actually said to me, once you start noticing babies everywhere and not dogs, that means you've got about a year. And that's always really stuck in my head because I said to her, what? There's no babies anywhere. And she's like, what do you mean there's like 4 babies in this vicinity? Like, oh, I've never even noticed them. And now I can sniff out a baby a mile away. So I don't know, something's going on with my woman's girl, something is going on. One of the main questions, and one that kept coming up a lot was about the wedding. So I did kind of touch on this a little bit on Instagram, but obviously we planned an entire freaking wedding, and then we had one of New Zealand's worst ever floods and a freaking cyclone. Prior to that, we planned an entire wedding in Bali back in 2020. So as you know, COVID ruined that as well. After that we were just like, oh my god, we're not doing this, fuck this, we're just not meant to be married. Then we've obviously moved countries, we've had bigger priorities, we've been putting money into investments and things like that. Really look back into it, but we keep coming back to Bali, and I think for our closest friends from Dubai and from New Zealand, I think it's a good halfway point. I do think it's going to be a very different wedding. For me, I only want to have our very, very closest friends and family there. Originally, it was still going to be a smallish wedding in some people's minds, but we were only going to have about 100 people. To me, I think that's a big wedding, but I know people have like 300 plus. But 100 people is literally like every human that we physically know. Thinking about it now, I really don't really want more than say 40 people max. And which kind of works out a bit because a lot of people I know won't be able to come, so I don't know, it will be really sad, but I think it's actually just going to be a situation where it's like, whoever can make it, can make it. If you can't, we totally understand. I feel like before I was trying to make it more about what other people wanted and not what we want. We're more of the like, we'll probably have a freaking pizza cart, we're probably gonna be partying till fucking 5 a.m. But that's who we are. So a bit of the excitement has gone away when it's like the third time round. And we're talking to wedding planners and I'm like, no, you're not getting the vision. I know exactly what I want. We've gone through this multiple fucking times now. So like, I have this shit on lock. At this point, I should just become a freaking wedding planner. I'm really looking forward to finally, I'll call him my freaking husband, but depending on the day that you ask me, it's between, oh my gosh, let's just sign the freaking papers, go to the courthouse. That is that. I really want to have a really special day. So I'm somewhere in between those, depending on when you ask me. We are going to go and have a look at 2 more venues while we're in Bali. If you do want me to do like a little venue tour while we're there, let me know. I am back, I am happy, I am safe, and I am ready to make whatever content you guys are interested in. I'm very excited to be in Bali, to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you so much for watching.